Well, welcome everyone to the Global Internship Program Info Session. My name is Andrew Bottom, and I am the Global Internship Program Manager here at the International Education Office. So thank you all for joining me here today. I just wanted to give a few housekeeping notes before we start the presentation, just let you know who we are. So we work at the UCLA International Education Office, also known as IEO, which is the one-stop shop for all things study abroad. So in addition to global internships, which I advise for, we have various advisors and counselors and coordinators there at the IEO office to answer any questions that you might have. So although we are currently not working from the office, we're currently working remotely. If you do contact us, which we'll have a contact page at the end of the presentation, we will be able to email with you, set up one-on-one advising sessions, and help you any way that you might need. We can also help you connect with study abroad returnees. So if there is a program that you're hoping to complete in the future, we can connect you with students who have done that program before. And again, this presentation is a part of our Global Learning Opportunities Week. So if you'd like to check out some of the other presentations going on, we definitely encourage you to go to our website again at www.ieo.ucla.edu/glow. So today we will be talking about the Global Internship Program at UCLA. So thank you all for joining. We'll cover first a little information about study abroad and COVID. I know that is a topic on a lot of people's minds. We'll discuss the why you might want to intern abroad. We'll give you a program overview of the different opportunities there are for the Global Internship Program, discuss the application, selection, and placement process, discuss the different locations, program costs, and funding options. And then in the end, we'll have a Q&A section where I can answer any questions you might have regarding the Global Internship Program. So study abroad and COVID-19. So we want you to note that currently for summer 2021 at the UCLA IEO, programs are scheduled to run. Continuously, we are monitoring the safety abroad. As you well know, things are dynamic and constantly changing, but we do want you to be aware that we are very sensitive to student timelines. So we know that students are making their plans for summer well in advance. And so we will be considerate of making decisions on go and no-go decisions very early so that you as students will have an opportunity, if a program does need to be canceled for in-person options, to either select a virtual alternative or to select other options available on the UCLA campus. As mentioned, there are some virtual opportunities available for different UCLA IEO programs, and specifically for the Global Internship Program, we actually have virtual opportunities for all of our locations, which is great. We appreciate your flexibility and patience, but one thing we do want to note is that if you are planning to study abroad this upcoming summer and you do not have a passport or need to renew your passport, because we always encourage you to have a passport with at least 6 months of eligibility before you return back home, that you do that ASAP, because normally it takes about 6 to 8 weeks to renew or to apply for a new passport. But due to COVID-19, a lot of these wait times have been backed up. So why might you want to intern abroad? So there's a lot of various reasons of why you might want to intern abroad. But generally students, when they come to us, say, you know what, I want some practical experience. You know, I'm doing a lot of great things in my classes and I really want some practical experience that I can take with me once I get done with my education here at UCLA and have a competitive edge in the job market. Specifically with the Global Internship Program, you'll be getting international internship experience. You'll be getting industry knowledge of, you know, a specific job industry that you'll be interested in. You'll learn to strengthen your communication and team building, adaptability by working in not only a new work culture, but also a different cultural environment. You'll have a new network from both the other interns you might be meeting on your program, in addition to those folks that you will be interning with directly. We hope that you will also make academic progress toward your time to degree. There are 2 courses we'll talk about that you'll be taking during your time doing the Global Internship Program. You'll experience a new culture firsthand, get an opportunity to travel, boost your confidence and independence. So there's a lot of great reasons that you might want to intern abroad. So the Global Internship Program, here's a little bit of an overview on the macro level. The internship program occurs in the summer only. All departure dates are around mid-June, about a week or so after graduation, and end around mid-August. The program lengths are 8 weeks of internship and follow the 10-week online courses. So your internship with the company or corporation, organization that you're working with will be 8 weeks in total, but you will be taking 10 weeks of classwork. The career fields that we currently are working with are the College Scholars Program with the Honors School, education, engineering, global affairs, which are the International Institute majors and minors, including global health, global studies, international and area studies, and international development studies. Global affairs is also the only internship track where students who are not in that specific major are open to take, as long as they are focusing their internship in these specific areas. And then also the School of Public Affairs. Students who will be conducting an internship program will be taking a minimum of 4 units and a maximum of 8 units. These are all academic internships, so they aren't unpaid. And as I mentioned earlier, we have in-country options and also virtual options. So the great thing is, if you already know that maybe you are unable to travel next summer, but you really want to complete an internship, we already have virtual options available. And if there, for some reason, we do need to cancel an in-person program due to travel restrictions, we will give those students who enroll in an in-person program the opportunity to switch to a virtual program. The internship hours for in-person are full-time, so between 32 to 40 hours a week, and those doing a virtual internship will be part-time, 20 to 30 hours per week, which gives you a little more flexibility. The eligibility criteria is quite broad, so you must be a UCLA undergraduate student. You must complete a minimum of 90 units by the end of spring 2021, so that would put you at third year status going into the summer. You must have a cumulative GPA of a 3.0 or above. If you are a transfer student, that's okay. We can use your transfer your transcript. And then by the time that you reach the spring quarter, we just expect that you're in good academic standing and have a 3.0 at UCLA at that time. Please note as well that for Toronto and London, there are some age requirements due to the visa restrictions. So when you go to those web pages, just make sure to double check that you fit within the age requirements. Academically, as I mentioned, you'll be taking a minimum of 4 units, a maximum of 8 units while you are conducting your internship. All of these classes, no matter if you are interning in person or virtually, these courses will be done online. The courses for summer session A of this upcoming year are June 21st through August 27th. The mandatory course is what is known as an internship course, which will either be seen as a 195 or a 195 CE course. For many of our majors, which I'll point out later, this course may actually fulfill your capstone for your capstone sequence within your major. Additionally, we have a CESC 130 course for 4 units. This course focuses on intercultural communication in the global workplace. Various of our majors do actually accept this course credit for units within the major or minor, or even GE credit. So it's good to look at each of your internship tracks to see how these courses might fulfill any major or minor requirements. Please note that if you are taking a full load, 8 units, you will only intern 4 days per week instead of 5 days per week. This is in order to ensure that you will have enough time to complete the internship. Students who are enrolling 8 units will be eligible for financial aid. So that's something to note. If you are planning to apply for financial aid, you will need to enroll in both courses. So let's talk about how to search for your program and how to apply. So this is the global internship page. You'll notice when you go to our website, if you click on Explore Programs at the tab at the very top, you'll be able to see global internships, and then you'll click on that to find the global internship programs. In order to apply, our application will open next Monday, so very soon, November 2nd, and for in-person programs runs through February 12th. For virtual programs, we provide a couple extra weeks, like I mentioned, in case we do need to cancel for any reason an in-person program due to travel restrictions, which will allow students to switch over if they wish to a virtual program. There is something known as priority enrollment for both in-person and virtual programs, which occurs from November 2nd through December 13th. So what does that mean? Priority enrollment means that if you apply between November 2nd or December 13th, that's the first pool of students that we will look at in order to accept into the program. It is a competitive program and there are limited spaces. So it doesn't matter if you apply on November 3rd or December 10th, you'll be treated the same way, but we'll use that initial pool to fill the spots available for the program. It does not mean that you can't apply after December 13th. For some of our programs, there might be more students applying than others. And so if you are unable to make up your mind about applying before December 13th, we still encourage you to apply afterwards. And at that point, we'll take students on a case-by-case basis. As long as you meet the minimum requirements or are accepted into the program, we'll take students one by one. Again, you must be an undergraduate student, 90 units completed by spring 2021. Sorry for that mistake on the graphic. Cumulative 3.0 GPA and good academic standing. We'll talk a little bit more about how to get accepted into the program in a second here. So selection and placement process. So before we talk about how to get selected and placed, I want to talk about a couple documents you want to prepare prior to applying. So the first thing you want to prepare is your current resume. So make sure you take some time to properly format and spell check your resume before submitting. A lot of students sometimes will submit a resume that they have created a couple of years ago. It may not be accurate, or maybe they haven't looked to grammar check or to format appropriately. We definitely encourage you to look through and make sure that it's your best work, so that when we can show that to our partners in country, they can definitely have a positive look at you just from your resume. In addition, on the application, after you fill out all the biographical information, there will be a questionnaire of 4 questions. These questions are listed on each of the program pages. I just have them here as well, just so you can see. But I do encourage students who are planning to apply to take some time to write out their answers prior to enrolling, because there's no way to save your application when you're in the process. So we encourage you to copy and paste these answers from a Word document into your application so that you can preemptively really think through how you want to answer these questions. So there are such things as your personal introduction about yourself and why you're interested in the program, why you're interested specifically in your particular city or country, your career goals, and why do you think you stand out as a strong candidate. So in order to apply for the actual program, again, you will go to our website at www.ieo.ucla.edu/global internships. Students who meet the eligibility criteria after application, which we'll do an initial review at our office, will then conduct an advising call with our in-country partners. Our in-country partners are host organizations who have a network of internships available. And so they will be doing an advising appointment with you to make sure that you fit the criteria of a student, for their program, and also to make sure that they have internship opportunities for you there. So a good example is we have an engineering program, and for some of our locations, let's say for electrical engineer, there might be various opportunities, but for other locations, there might not be that many. And so we want to make sure in this advising call that the location you apply for has the available internships for you. After the advising call and after December 13th, at least for that initial priority enrollment, we will notify students if they've been accepted into the program. If you've been accepted into the program, you will then be asked to place down your $200 non-refundable deposit in order to confirm your spot in the program. After you've been selected and you put down your deposit, you will then be placed back into contact with the partner organization, where they will do a more in-depth interview with you for what we call a pre-placement interview. And then they will search their network for an internship site in order to match you up. And they will then organize a video interview with you and a prospective internship site manager. You will do the interview with the site manager. And then after the interview, both you and the site manager must say it's a good fit before moving forward. If it's a good fit, you'll sign an agreement form, and then that will be your site of your internship. If yourself or the site manager thinks it's not a good fit, then you'll move on to conduct additional interviews. Please note that if you do decide to decline an internship placement, you must have a valid reason. So you can't just say no, 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 just for no reason. You must have a valid reason of your career goals, of why this is not a good fit, or the types of tasks you're looking to do, to make sure that number one, our in-country partners really have a better idea of where they want to place you. And number two, to make sure, that they're putting a lot of time and effort into finding a good organization for you. So making sure that, you aren't just saying, no, just because you had a bad feeling about them. So let's now talk about global internship programs specifically and their locations. So first we have College Scholars. Our College Scholars program is located in Sydney, Australia. Because College Scholars come from a variety of different academic disciplines, we have a variety of career fields, really endless, that we could place you in. Just note that due to the academics, you will be completing a CESC 195 CE course. Your placements must be at a government, an NGO, or a nonprofit. So that's just a little note. So if, let's say, you're a biology major, we can still definitely have a placement for you, but it would be maybe through a conservation organization, nonprofit, or maybe the government, has a environmental policy group that you're a part of. The coursework for College Scholars is, again, CESC 195, which is mandatory, and then the CESC 130, which is optional for all students. For education majors, we have two locations, Bogota, Colombia, and Cape Town, South Africa. These placements will be focused really on human rights, which is the main focus and mission of the education major at UCLA. We have placements in various law, NGOs, and nonprofits. This program is actually great because it fulfills the capstone series for the education major. Education 195 CE is the mandatory course, and then CESC 130 is the optional course. For engineering students, we have 3 locations in person, Berlin, Germany, Osaka, Japan, and Toronto, Canada. The placements really vary by location. As mentioned a little bit earlier, some of these locations have a wider variety of engineering placements depending on your specific field of study. You will conduct an Engineering 195 mandatory course, and then the CESC 130 as the optional course. And then for public affairs and what we're calling global affairs, which again is for International Institute majors and minors, we have the same locations for both students. So they're Bogota and Medellin, Colombia. You would be located in just one of those 2 cities if you decide to go to Colombia, Dublin, Ireland, Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, and London, UK. Placements again vary slightly by locations, so please note that. The coursework, if you're public affairs, will be the Public Affairs 195 CE course. And if you are global affairs tracked, it will be the International and Area Studies 195 CE course. It's important to note that for public affairs, this 195 CE course can be part of your, or is part of your capstone series, and so fulfills your 187A course for your capstone series. And then we have virtual internships. So for all those same career sectors I talked about, we have placements around the world. And so virtual is a little bit different in the sense that you will select a area of the world that you wish to conduct an internship. And then we have a specific partner in each of those areas that will be helping you find your placement. So again, these will be about 20 to 30 hours per week for those 8 weeks that you're doing a virtual internship. And you can conduct a virtual internship if you already know that you're unable to travel or don't wish to travel. You can already conduct a virtual internship now. So let's now talk a little bit about program costs and funding. So these are all somewhat accurate costs, but I'll still call them estimates just in case anything slightly changed. But you'll notice that on our website, we already have the program fees and tuitions already posted. So when you see the program fees line item there, that includes your tuition, your housing, your health insurance, all those different expenses that you might face while you're there. Does not include, however, your round trip airfare, does not include your meals and incidentals or entertainment that you wish to have, or any visa payments. So you can see for public and global affairs, it's quite a range of the cost. So you have on the lower end, Colombia and Bogota, Medellin, and on the higher end, London in the UK. So depending on the location you go, that will definitely vary in the cost of the program. Again, the difference in the cost really is based on just the cost of living in that location, and if there's visa requirements or airfare that's more expensive in one location or the other. It's also important to note that the tuition is based on the summer sessions tuition, which is $279 per unit. So between the 4-unit fee and the 8-unit fee, it really is just the difference between 4 additional units. For engineering, the locations actually are all pretty similar in cost in Berlin, Osaka, and Toronto, as you can notice. The program fee is $100 more in Toronto, but due to just the airfare being probably a little bit cheaper, it might come out a little bit more affordable. But generally, these 3 locations are pretty similar in cost. It's important to note as well that the round-trip airfare and meals and incidentals are just estimates for all of these locations that we're giving to you. You may find a ticket that's way cheaper. You may be really economical with the way you eat, or you may find a really expensive plane ticket, or you might eat out a lot. So we just give general estimates, usually on a little bit on the high end, just in order to provide a little bit more financial aid if possible. For honors, for education, we have Bogota and Cape Town. So you can see for both those locations, the estimated costs. And then you have Sydney, Australia, which again is for college scholars. And then the virtual programs is the same for everyone, no matter your major. So it's a different cost. So you can see the cost down there, about $2,400 for 4 units, about $3,600 for 8 units. And then the only difference with virtual is that Columbia is a cheaper program just based on the partners that we use there. Is $400 cheaper off of both the 4 units and the 8 units. So if you're interested in using financial aid to help fund your time abroad, there is financial aid available for students for the Global Internship Program. And so students who are generally eligible for financial aid can definitely apply. There is a separate Global Internship Financial Aid form you will have to complete in order to apply for financial aid. And you will also need to be enrolled in 8 units, so 2 courses to be eligible. It's important to note that in the summertime, financial aid, no matter what program you do, whether it's global internships or another study abroad program, or you're just doing a summer sessions class on campus, tends to be more loan heavy. So there's a few grants that are not offered during the summertime that are offered during the academic year. So in the summer, just the Pell and University grant are available. And so it tends to be a larger loan component to the financial aid for the summer programs. In order to try to offset that, we do have some scholarships, scholarships based on need-based, identity-based, merit-based scholarships. And so there's just a few I want to mention here. So we have, first of all, the UCLA Global Internship Scholarship, which is available for any student applying for financial aid. We give out various scholarships for this every year for up to $2,500 for in-person programs. And I meant to add this, but $1,500 for the virtual programs. There's a Kramer and Siebert Scholarship, which is up to $2,000 for global affairs tracked students only. We have a UK scholarship for $1,500 for students who are doing an internship in London. We also have the Wang Middle Income Scholarship for students who are considered what we say middle income students for doing any of our programs. And so the Wang Middle Income Scholarship is one that students from other study abroad programs might apply for as well. So just a note on that. Additionally, there are various national scholarships you can apply for. I highly recommend, if you are a Pell Grant recipient, to look into the Gilman International Scholarship, which gives out between $2,500 and $5,000. This is a great scholarship for Pell Grant recipients. About a quarter of students nationally actually receive the scholarship. And I would say that just based on my own observations at UCLA, a higher number of students at UCLA actually get the scholarship than a quarter. So I would definitely apply if you're a Pell Grant recipient. We also have various databases like the Diversity Abroad Scholarship Database on our website that can assist you with finding different scholarships that might meet your major needs, your identity, various different factors. So if you're interested in learning more about scholarships, we highly suggest 2 things. First of all, if you go to our IEO website, /scholarships, you will be able to navigate scholarships based on the Global Internship Program and also find national scholarships as well as these databases there. And we also have a scholarship webinar that was added to our on-demand section of the GLOW website. So again, if you go to our GLOW website at ieo.ucla.edu/GLOW, on the on-demand section, there is a scholarship webinar that goes more into depth about applying for these various scholarships. So before we move forward to some Q&A, I just wanted to make note that we do have a keyword scavenger hunt here during the GLOW week. So cenote is our keyword of the day. If you go to our GLOW website, there's information at the top menu bar that discusses the rules about the scavenger hunt, and you can be entered to win a $75 gift card each day that you place in the word of the day. So the word of the day for today, Tuesday, is cenote. So encourage you to send your answers in at our GLOW website before end of the day. And before I get to Q&A, I wanted to mention that if you are interested in learning more about the Global Internship Program, any updates, or anything about our other study abroad programs, please take this QR code and you can register for our listserv. And that way we can be in touch with you about any updates to our programs throughout the application process. So I'm going to leave this up here for a second while I get to some questions. That way you have a chance. So our first question, if you have high school AP classes, do they count towards the 90 unit minimum? Yes, any courses that you have transferred to UCLA, any course credits, those can count towards the 90 unit minimum. You just need to be seen as a third year level student as you enter summer of 2021, which is seen as the very first quarter of the academic year. Another question is previous internship experience necessary to be accepted into this program? No, you don't need to have any previous internship experience to be accepted. Actually, a lot of students probably won't have any previous experience necessarily. So as you talk about kind of yourself as a candidate, as you are creating your resume, definitely highlight, any club experience you have, if you have any prior work experience, any specific career goals that you have in mind and how this program will really help you reach those career goals. We're just looking really for motivated students that really want to use opportunity to elevate them to the next level of their career and just be, ready to enter the workforce, after you graduate from UCLA. Let's see, a next question. And then again, just to mention with the high school AP classes, any transfer units as well will count towards 90 unit minimum as well. Another question was, are internships strictly based on major? So you'll notice that we did have internship tracks. So the majority of the tracks, you do need to be in those specific majors in order to attend those programs. The only caveat is the Global Affairs internship. So that one is open to non-majors of the International Institute, but just note that those internships, because of the courses you're taking an International and Area Studies 195 CE course, the types of internships will be based more so on, students who would be in global studies, international and area studies, international development studies, global health. So those types of major, focuses might be a career focus, in those areas. Now, let's say you're a marketing student, but maybe your placement would be maybe with an NGO focusing on global health. That could work, for instance. So if you have more specific questions about that, feel free to email me and I'll show my contact information in a second in case you have some specific questions. Will there be any opportunities for graduating nursing students regarding international healthcare or underserved populations? So for this question, we have been in talks with creating some public health programs. I thought they actually might be running this year, public and global health. Unfortunately, as far as I know, we don't have those programs running. That could possibly change, but as far as now, these will not be going live on the 2nd. And so the answer, I guess, would be no, but we will be creating opportunities for sure in the future for global health and public health. However, just to note that students must be enrolled at UCLA in general for any of our programs for the Global Internship Program. So if you are planning to graduate in the summer, then you will need to make sure that in the spring of 2021, you'll need to make sure that you extend your enrollment until the end of summer in order to be eligible for the program. Additionally, just a quick reminder, You can also follow us on Instagram at UCLA IEO this week for a chance to win a $20 Amazon gift card as well. A couple additional questions. Where can you access the audio recording or the slides? So this audio recording will be uploaded to our GLOW website. So again, www.ieo.ucla.edu/GLOW. There's a section called On Demand. It might take a few days to be posted. So I would say maybe wait about 2 to 3 days until it might be posted, as we are trying to add subtitles to these videos, but it will be posted there. So you'll have an opportunity to go check it out later if you wish to review again. And then another question, are there any internship programs for business or environmental science majors? Currently at this time, there is not through the Global Internship Program. Another opportunity that you do have, however, is that UCEAP does have a internship program as well, very similar to ours. However, it's not UCLA course units, so it's a little bit different in the academic realm. Their programs do have a more broad opening as far as the majors who can apply. So they have a more broad range of the different types of majors you can be from. So if the UCLA Global Internship Program doesn't meet your major requirements or what you're looking for, I definitely highly suggest that you look at the UCEAP Global Internship Program. And that can be found on our website. So when you go to explore programs, you can click on UCAP and then explore internship opportunities. So it looks like that's all the questions I see here. So I do want to move on to the last slide so you can see how to contact us. So again, we're the UCLA International Education Office. You can contact me directly at abottom@ieo.ucla.edu, or you can contact our office if you have some general questions at info@ieo.ucla.edu. Again, we're available over email during this time. We also are available to conduct one-on-one advising sessions as well over Zoom. So thank you all so much for joining, and I hope we'll see you on a program this upcoming summer. Have a great afternoon.